thank y'all for coming. What? Yes, you're done. Thank you, Kim. I just have a few comments to make before we get into our presentation of awards. The first thing I'd like to do is recognize some out-of-towners who have made the special trip to join us for our chamber banquet tonight. First, we have our new state representative, Michael John Gray. Where are you, Michael John? Yes. And his wife, Amy. No stranger to our chamber banquet is from U.S. Senator John Bozeman's office, Mr. Nathan Davis. Nathan, thank you for coming. And one of Newport's own, who's representing Congressman Rick Crawford's office, Mr. Charles Landrum. Thank you for coming, Charles. And had a chance to meet Miss Rebecca Hall tonight from U.S. Senator Tom Cotton's office. Where are you, Rebecca? Thank you so much. Also, I do want to thank our local and county elected officials who have joined us tonight as well. Too many to identify. You know who you are, and I love you. Thank you for coming. If you haven't done so already, please take a moment to look in your banquet program and just acknowledge the folks who have volunteered their time to serve as a board of director, ex officio member, officer for the last year and the upcoming year. We certainly couldn't do it without all of you guys being a part of the Chamber of Commerce. And also, I wanted to introduce you all to the new administrative assistant at the chamber office, and that is Felicia Simpson up front. Yay! Felicia also serves as the Newport Business Resource Center building coordinator, and if you've ever been around me and John and Shirley and the craziness that is our building, you know it kind of takes a special person to be able to put up with it, and Felicia fits right in. Hey, and it's time for your speech now, Felicia. Just kidding. Also wanted to thank Purdy's Flowers and Gifts for the beautiful arrangement that made us want spring even more without the rain. And now it says my speech. I have been at the chamber now for, I think, 13 years. And yeah. 13 is a lucky number. Our house is 13 Cypress Circle. Michael was born on Friday the 13th. I've been here 13 years. Something is about to go down into 2015 for the Chamber of Commerce. But it is officially true. Time really does go by faster the older you get. It just seems like yesterday. It seems like 2 months ago I was standing up here saying the exact same words, welcoming you all and telling you about our past and our present and our future, which is kind of our theme for this year's banquet. Most of our programs that we've had for this 13 years still are continuing because they are very important to us. For example, we value our youth and we want to see them succeed, so that's why we continue our Arkansas Scholars Committee and the program with Newport High School, and that's why we give thousands and thousands of dollars every year through the scholarship program that the Chamber offers, thanks to local businesses and organizations. We remain dedicated to nurturing the growth and development of our local businesses, and we encourage partnerships that Newport businesses and organizations have really gotten really good at partnerships, haven't we? I mean, it's just really what has made us zoom forward into our bright future. We also realize how quality of life improvements like the Christmas lighting program and tourism promotions are going to help see us in others' eyes in a positive light. We understand the importance of community partnerships with other organizations, for example, like the Newport High School Charitable Foundation and the Downtown Revitalization Group Drive. And we, in my opinion, have cultivated community involvement tenfold thanks to the New Vision Newport program, and not necessarily the program, but for the folks who take that giant leap of faith to get on that van and go on that first trip with a bunch of strangers and come home as friends. By the way, just as a feel-good moment for me, will all of our New Vision graduates or participants this year please stand up? Oh, there's a lot more of you. Stand up. Thank you very much. But my 13 years at the Chamber would not have been possible, nor nearly as much fun, without the support of you and your individual time, the financial contributions of your business, what you have contributed to the chamber. You're the reason that our committees are strong and that they have continued all of these years, and that your belief in that we can make a difference in the health and wealth of Newport and Jackson County. So thank you all for what you do for the Newport Area Chamber of Commerce. Give yourself a hand. I have just two more announcements, two more topics, and I'll just run through them really briefly. First, I wanted to let you know that our New Vision Newport Class 12 will be graduating in this room on Tuesday, May the 5th. When we were planning our Class 11, we kind of used them as test dummies. Anybody from Class 11 in the test dummy class? We decided to partner 3 teams from the class members with 3 local organizations to complete a project that benefited our community. And I couldn't have been prouder with the projects that were accomplished last year. You may have attended the Merchants in May business event at the Village Mall parking lot last year, which actually became Memphis in May and June because of rain and thunderstorms. We also had implementation of a sign program thanks to the Read Newport grant through the Newport Economic Development Commission. And then another team completed a well restoration project downtown on Front and Hazel that included the installation of that beautiful fountain that is downtown now, which will also be the focal point for the new downtown park that I can't wait to tell you about in the future if you've seen the drawings out front. But the reason I want you to go to the graduation banquet this year is because of Class 12 projects that they're working on. There is an economic development team that's working on a one-day economic development summit for local businesses, regional businesses, that'll highlight resources available to them to help them grow. A historic preservation team that is partnered with the Jackson County Historical Society. They're working to design a local historic marker program and implement the installation of several of those markers. And then a park enhancement team is working with the Downtown Revitalization Drive group on the portion of the park focused on veterans. A veterans memorial in the new downtown park is what their topic will be for their project. They have worked very hard on these projects, and they will unveil their findings and the full details on May the 5th, and I hope that you'll join us for that. Okay, last but not least, what do I always try to do at the chamber banquet? Port Fest! Sorry, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, so you know we had rough weather last year, right? A severe thunderstorm hit the heart of the Jacksonport State Park, right where the stage was, and I'm telling you, you have not really lived until you have sat in a camper on the banks of the White River during a severe thunderstorm warning, right, Jenna? It was a lot of fun. But due to that and the amount of rain that we received, we were forced to cancel. The Port Fest directors were forced to make a tough decision and cancel our Friday night last year, which actually is a Debbie Downer for 2 reasons. One is they planned all year long for this kickoff event on that Friday night and the moment that the gates open. And secondly, because we had a really great act scheduled in the Marshall Tucker Band for a rock night, one of the premier Southern rock bands touring still today that I read they're in one of the top 10 bands you got to see. But I'm glad to tell you that they have reconfirmed, and they will be here this Friday night of Port Fest on Friday, June the 5th. So, and you're welcome that I didn't make you all sing "Can't You See" like I did last year. On Saturday, June the 6th, that means that we're more focused on our country acts. And typically what works best for us is when we pair an old school act with an up-and-coming young act. I almost said hip, but that's just, it's not really what I mean. And I almost said hot, too, because that's what some of the college girls tell me about the guys, but that's not true either. Gross. Okay, here we go. Our first country act has actually been to Port Fest before. But it was such a pleasure to have them there the first time that we have asked them to return, not only because they were extremely pleasurable to work with, which means that they were friendly and nice, which isn't always the case with our acts, right, Tara? but also because they put on one heck of a show and they can play hit after hit that everybody knows. For example, songs like A First Time for Everything, What Might Have Been, God Bless Texas, Kick a Little. We want to welcome back Little Texas to Port Fest on Friday, June the 6th. And it seems that our second act on Port Fest is a guy that came on the scene in 2009. Apparently, he's good looking, if you're into that kind of thing. Right? Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's what Felicia told me anyway. He had a song in 2009 that a lot of us can relate to, and maybe that's why folks are following him these days. And it was called Beer on the Table, followed by several more charted singles, including Won't Be Lonely Tonight and Way Out Here. Has that sounded familiar to the radio guys over there? Nodding. And his name is Josh Thompson, and he will be at Port Fest this year, so don't miss it. Is that a good one? Okay, good. Thank you all again. We are to the time of the evening for the presentation of awards, and we'll begin with Gina Slagley from the Newport Independent.
Hi there, I'm Gina Slagley with the Newport Independent, and it's a long-standing tradition that once a year in the early summer, several leaders from around the county meet and choose an outstanding farm family from Jackson County. And this year's farm family's name goes hand in hand with both farming and family traditions. They're the Hervey Madden family.
Hello, I'm Frank Plaguey, and I am a member of the Jackson County Council on Tourism. Now, what is that? It's a committee under the Chamber of Commerce. How do you get on this committee? Well, you volunteer. And if you don't, you might be put on there by someone who just spoke with us. The Tourism Committee, about 2 years ago, if you know Judge Phillips and a certain dentist, female dentist who operates here in town, decided they wanted to decorate the courthouse for Christmas. And you know what a wonderful job they did on that. But they wanted to take it a step further. So they wanted to do the Christmas trees. And the thing we envisioned was doing the around the lake. And if you've seen what we've done around the lake, you see how well that looked. Then Patty, said how about the businesses? And so some businesses said that yes, they would participate. So we've done that. So in this next year, we decided to expand that. So we have. Now, these things are bought, and we have to put them together. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of preparation. It's amazing what goes into it. And all of it is done with voluntary effort by people in this room. And I cannot tell you, I would hate to try to guess how many volunteers do this. What makes Newport proud is their volunteerism. When a project comes up, they do it. And in this particular case, in the fall, right before Christmas, we've been out there when it's raining, when it's snowing, sleeting, to get this done. Nobody ever objected. So to all the volunteers, both businesses, those who gave their money to buy the trees that we put up around town, and for the individuals who have volunteered. I want to thank you from the Tourism Committee. And this year, we and unanimously voted for the faculty, staff, and students of ASU Newport.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Henry Boyce, and I'm the chairman of the Depot Days Committee. And I know many of you all return year after year to this banquet, and you probably heard this speech before, but I'm going to tell it again just and make it really short. But 17 years ago, a small group of volunteers got together with an idea to preserve the musical history of Jackson County in the form of a festival featuring some local rock and roll legends and pioneers in the rock and roll recording industry that were contemporaries of Elvis Presley. A lot of people became interested in the idea because they had lived the history and been to the shows and the nightclubs that lined Jackson County in the 1950s and 60s. Real quick, can I have a hand from anybody that's ever been to Depot Days? Just about everybody, I hope. Did anybody go this past year and see Exile? Did anybody enjoy that show? Can I get a yeah? Anyway, I would like to think it's gotten better and better every year. We have fans that return every year from overseas, and it's especially something of a source of community pride because we offer it to the community absolutely for free. And if it wasn't for the people in this room that support the festival, we absolutely couldn't do it. And I want to thank all of you all for being the sponsors and keeping it going for all these years. It's really something to be proud of, and especially in light of the upcoming plans for downtown, I can see a bright future ahead for Depot Days as well. Let's see. With regard to the award tonight, you recognize volunteers usually individually. We just got a group award to ASU Newport, but tonight I want to recognize a couple of members of the Depot Days Committee who they really do make more as a team than either individual. One is a longtime businessman, banker, and investment advisor in this town, and the other is a longtime educator and a very, very, very stable assistant. Both of these folks have volunteered for committee after committee over the years. Depot Days is just one of the latest things that they've done for this town. Many people get taken for granted, as I've said before when I've given this award away, but you really get more bang with the buck when you get two for the price of one, and they happen to be husband and wife. The Depot Days award this year goes to Debbie and Terry Dillon.
Congratulations. We have Portfest directors who are elected by your chamber board to serve 3-year terms. And tonight I'd like to recognize some folks who, if you've ever been a Portfest director, you know that 3 years becomes 4, and then 5, and then you turn around and then there's 25 years gone by that you've been a part of the Portfest family. But officially speaking, these folks are retiring off as Portfest directors. However, you will see their shining face for several years to come at Portfest, which we truly appreciate. But this is our opportunity to recognize outgoing Portfest directors. 2 are here, 2 are not. First, let me say a guy who has been involved with Portfest for many years, who will still be there, but we are just kind of giving him a little break with the most tasks at the park to maybe half of that. And that's Mr. Bobby Tucker. And if you see Bobby Tucker, be sure and thank him for what he has done for Portfest and what he will continue to do with Portfest. Secondly, representing Arkansas Steel, going off is Mr. Craig Conkle. So if you see Craig, be sure and thank him as well. And the 2 outgoing directors tonight that I'd just like to say thank you. However, they're still coming to the meetings, and they still are helping out to allow the new directors to shadow them so that they're not lost and blind, which is really helpful. And I believe that they'll probably remain a part of the family for quite some time if I get my way, hopefully. And that is representing Farmers Electric, Brian Lindsay, and representing Lindley Health and Rehab, Miss Jen Austin. So thank you both.
Again, my name is Robert Summers, and it's my privilege to announce the Community Pride Award tonight. Tonight's representative was also a unanimous vote from our committee. The recipient of tonight's Community Pride Award may be one of the most dynamic catalysts for change that we've had in our county for the last 10 and more years now. The recipients, the influence of this organization can be found in every organization throughout our city, through every organization in the county probably. It can be found in our commissions, our boards, our civic organizations, and any committee that you find throughout Jackson County. And I need some help presenting this award. May I ask the class of 2015 of the Newport New Vision class to please stand up? Class 12. Class 12. Nobody's here?
Amy Paxton, stand up.
Thank you. If you would come forward, the recipient of our 2015 Community Pride Award is our Newport New Vision program. This is a great program, and we're proud to give this award.
There are a handful of businesses in Newport that have always been a fixture here for decades. Businesses that have participated in the evolution of our community over time that we cannot imagine being without. This year's Small Business of the Year is one such fixture, and it continues serving as a positive voice for the community through a renewed local presence. We appreciate their dedication to helping promote events, showcasing our youth, and even helping us through our workday with some good music and a laugh. We value this business as much today as we did when it opened in 1949. The Small Business of the Year award goes to KOKR, better known today as River Country 96.7.
Our large business of the year understands that being a local business has less to do with geography and more to do with making a positive impact. This includes financial contributions for local events, local scholarships, and major community projects. In addition, this business encourages employees to get involved in local organizations such as the Cancer Society, Food Pantry, participating in numerous school events, and cleaning up the community. This business also understands the importance of downtown revitalization, which is evident by its footprint in the downtown area and through major support of the Drive organization. I'm sure you'll all agree we owe many thanks to the people of this year's Large Business of the Year Award for their excellent customer service and their great community service. Congratulations to Merchants and Planters Bank.
Okay, you may have noticed on your program that there is an award that's called a Bright Future Award, and that is actually a new recognition award developed by this year's executive committee to honor businesses who may not have been around for very long, but boy, have they accomplished a lot in a short amount of time. We are honoring a business tonight who has made an impact both at their business and the footprint of their business, as well as their community service. What started out with just some furniture then became a boutique as well, and now there's some really big U-Hauls in the parking lot. This business has proven to us that with good old-fashioned hard work and a positive attitude, you can do a lot in a short amount of time. So our Bright Future Award goes to Cherie's Emporium.
When you think about the award for the outstanding citizen, you can probably look around this room and see some of the former people who have won this award, deservedly so. And you typically think of those people that have been in the community and contributed great things over a number of years, maybe even a number of decades. But every once in a while, something outstanding happens from someone who comes into the community quickly and immediately begins to be a leader in the community, involved and contributing more than you would have ever imagined. And that is so with this year's winner. This award serves as a thank you for embracing your role as a leader in Newport and Jackson County and for being a positive advocate for the community of Newport. Please welcome my friend, Robert Rupp.
And I get to introduce our presentation for tonight. And I worked on this for quite some time. I've got about 12 pages and about 45 minutes worth of an introduction here. I've got this great story that was going to lead into it. It was going to be dynamic, and it was really going to draw everybody in. And right before the meeting tonight, Dr. Scholl pointed out to me that the Gettysburg Address had 272 words, and I think President Lincoln spoke in less than 3 minutes. And then my wife pointed out to me that she's my boss. So I took that in consideration. I've cut my introduction down a little bit. But I would like to start this how I end every chamber meeting. At every chamber meeting, at the end of the day, I talk about some of the positive things that are going on in Newport and in Jackson County. And there is a great story to tell in Jackson County. There's a great story to tell about Newport, Arkansas. And the story is there to be told, and it needs to be told by the right people. We're the ones that know the true story of Newport. And it's our story to tell, and it's important that we tell it correctly. And that's really the job of the chamber. I think it's our job to collect the story and present that story. And when we talked about what we were going to do tonight for this event, we talked about having entertainment, we talked about having a speaker, and what we decided to do as an executive group is to tell this story. So tonight we're going to tell the story of Newport, or at least part of that story. We're going to tell it in three chapters. Chapter 1 is our proud past. Chapter 2, our exciting present. And chapter 3, our bright future.
In the heart of the White River Delta lies a seemingly sleepy little town called Newport, Arkansas. But if you ask lifelong residents about the place that they still call home, you quickly learn that Newport has been, and still is, anything but sleepy.
Newport has always been blessed with great people very capable, leadership capabilities, doers, and people that come together on every occasion.
Downtown was the heart of Newport, and free time was spent outdoors. Manners were very important, and so was a strong work ethic.
Newport was a leader in industrial development in Arkansas right after World War II, and the town was bustling, and other towns were coming to see how we were doing what we were doing. The leadership in the town at that time was doing a tremendous job.
There was tons of opportunity for young people. Everybody was working together, and if you had a project, they were available to be part of it. Everybody wanted to be part of whatever took place.
Depending on which decade you remember most, Newport's proud past includes many important milestones, from business, industry, and agriculture. To our musical heritage. Educational opportunities. The development of community events. To making something old new again. In the heart of the White River Delta lies a thriving town called Newport, Arkansas.
Our people of Newport are passionate about our neighbors, our schools, and our local government. We're faithful to the call. We cherish our great history, and we always put our community first. It's not just that we have good people, but rather that we have good people who care.
The last decade hasn't been easy, but through our struggles, we have reached an exciting present. New business and industry expansions. Increased educational opportunities.
The impact ASU Newport has made on our youth, their families, the faculty and staff, and the community has been priceless. A world of educational opportunities is right here in Newport to prepare our children for the workplace and the rest of their lives.
The development of community events.
Seeing the growth and impact we can have on our community is reason to be proud. When a cause is put forth, volunteers are anxious to help without complaint. Depot Days, Port Fest, the Delta Visual Arts Show, and the Christmas Lighting Program are the direct result of businesses and individuals contributing and volunteering efforts that have made these successful community events a reality.
To making something old new again.
Newport and Jackson County are on the move. I believe that we will continue to have a bright future if we will all work together to accomplish our goals for future generations.
In the heart of the White River Delta lies a bright future for the growing town of Newport, Arkansas.
There is no doubt that Newport is on the map as a progressive community. The proof of our community's resilience lies in the continuous efforts of so many who are motivated by programs like New Vision Newport, as well as philanthropic and benevolent entities that have nurtured the optimism in the minds of our residents.
The future is near.
While every town's economic development brochure lists blue sky, green grass, and clean water, we can boast of a community that is its own best friend. Newport's biggest asset is its people, and that is what will carry us into our bright future.
On the banks of the White River Delta, Newport, Jackson County, home.
And one more round of applause for Mr. Anthony May, who helped put that together. Wasn't it a great video? Again, I would like to thank everybody for being here tonight. We appreciate your support. We appreciate you being here to help share this great story and to be part of this great story. I appreciate my friends from ASU Newport, many of which I was eating lunch with in Chicago just a couple hours ago. And I would surely like to thank Miss Julie Allen, our great director. Please give her a round of applause. The Chamber does many great things in our community, and we couldn't do it without you, Julie. We really appreciate you. 13 years has it been that long. And without further ado, this concludes our evening. We appreciate everybody being here tonight, and good night.